Now, let us move on to the differentiation between short, middle, and long-term goals. Because, first of all, we got the short-term goals. These are the goals from around 1 day to 1 week. These are really, for example, that I want to lose a pound of weight this week. This could be, for example, a short-term goal, or it could be I have to do my homework until next week, Wednesday. That could be, for example, in the next 5 days, that could be. So, in the end, this is very much a short-term goal. Or you say, okay, in this week, I want to go 3 times to the gym, or I want to create two new Udemy courses, or I want to write 10 pages in a book. All of these are considered short-term goals. Then we got the middle-term goals, which I believe are the most crucial ones, in the sense that if you reach them, you actually take big steps in order to get to your long-term goals. Because the long-term goals are actually something that is rather a dream. I don't want you to really have something that is very likely to be reached. I want you to something that really requires a lot of work and a lot of hustle, a lot of work ethic, and could be reached. But if you reach it, it could be the best thing that could ever happen to you in your life. And everything you reached on the way would actually be very similar to what you could have imagined a long-term goal could have been if you would have thought about it realistically. Now, when we talk about the middle-term goals, we have now goals that are from 1 week to 3 months. This could be, for example, to do a 10-week program or something like that, or now, yeah, a 10-week program and just simply work out more in order to develop perhaps a better body. Or you could say, okay, in 3 months, I want to create 30 new Udemy courses. Or I could say, I want to have 10 people on my podcast. Or I just simply want to eat very healthy for 2 months. And perhaps I want to give another interview in the next 2 weeks or something like that. So in the end, all of these are middle-term goals. And when you reach those goals, you actually reach a lot. For example, what you can see here on my channel is actually that I try to create every single day one Udemy course. Now, of course, I know this is ridiculous and many people out there think this is just not right and perhaps I'm greedy. And perhaps, yes, I am a little bit. But also, I just simply love to set goals for myself, and then I want to reach those goals. For example, I'm currently 1 day behind. I didn't manage to create one yesterday, but I will create today one, and I'll create one tomorrow, whatever it takes, and I will just stick to those goals. Because in the end, I have a long-term goal. That long-term goal is far away than just 3 months. This is actually around 2 years away in my mind, because in 2 years, I want to make off Udemy around $20,000 every single month. That is my goal basically. And in order to do that, I want to create in the next 2 years around 200 courses here on this platform. Now, I think I'm going to reach that much sooner, but this is basically my goal. This is my long-term goal. But then I also got the life goals, and those are the ones which are now really unrealistic and really huge. For example, this could be to become a billionaire. This could be to visit Mars. This could be to own a country, to be the president of a country. Of course, it is possible that you make it, but it's very unlikely. And that's why I try to put this as life goal, because actually, let me quote Trump on that, because Trump said, if you think, or if you already think, why don't you think big? So this is really what I try to teach you here. Think big, and if you hustle towards that goal and really work hard every single day, and you perhaps fail the goal and you're going to be quite close to it, well, perhaps you're going to be a multi-millionaire, but perhaps not a billionaire. But if you would have said, okay, my life goal is to make $1 million, you would have worked like I want to make $1 million. But if you say, okay, I work like I want to be a billionaire, then you're going to think much bigger, and perhaps you are going to make it and you are going to become a billionaire. Perhaps you're not going to do it and you just end up being a multi-millionaire with $300-400 million on your bank account. But that is the kind of thinking that we need to develop when we actually set our own goals, and that is how we also build confidence in ourselves. Because when we have confidence and when we say, good, this is now my goal, I want to reach it, then we are going to go out and we are going to reach it. That is the mindset that I want you to develop. And also, what do you need in order to achieve your goals? Which steps do you need to take? And this is really what I try to teach you here. When you have a short-term goal, what kind of steps do you need to take in order to reach it? When you have a middle-term goal, what kind of steps do you need to take in order to reach it? If you have a long-term goal, what are the steps that you need in order to achieve that goal? What are the steps for the life goals? These are the things that I want to talk with you about now in the next couple of minutes. Because let's say you have a short-term goal and you say, I want to eat healthy for 1 week. Now, what you can do, for example, the step to get there is, of course, first of all, to have the mindset, to have the ability to really stay on a diet for 1 week. And to be honest, in my mind, this is really difficult. I can almost not be on a diet for a week straight, because then I just simply get a attack of hunger, and then I need to just simply eat the things that I just want to eat. Of course, many people might say this is not the right way you do dieting, and perhaps you don't do it properly, but in the end, I don't care and I love sweets. So in the end, this is basically what happens to me. But if you say, I want to stay healthy for 1 week, and you, for example, do the meal prep, and every morning you wake up and you say, okay, I'll wake up at 8 o'clock, I cook until 8:30, I prepare my meals, and then every single day I'm going to finish 3 of these meals, I'm going to have a couple of drinks, I'll drink this, that, and I can live with that happily, then you really are able to achieve your dreams, to achieve that goal in the short term. Now, when you say, for example, it is my middle term goal to be featured on 100 interviews in the next 3 months, well, this is really, really a lot. I managed to do something quite similar. I was on 10 interviews in one single week. But what I can give you as an advice here is, for example, when you say, okay, I want to tackle 100 people who do interviews with me in 3 months, and I want to really have interviews with them. Now, of course, what you can do is schedule more than one on one single day. So when you talk to other people, when you say, okay, I want to be featured on your interviews, then of course you want to make sure that this really fits in your plan. So I believe that you can actually pull more of these sets off every single term. So for example, when you say, okay, my middle term goal is to have a great body. My middle term goal is to be featured in 100 interviews. My middle term goal is to, let's say, stay on a diet for these 3 months. Then it doesn't mean that you only are allowed to do one of those. You can actually do all three if you have the positive momentum in your mind, if you have the right mindset and also the ability and basically the resources in order to make it. If you have all of that, you're going to reach those goals as well. And then, of course, we got the long-term goals, and the long-term goals basically consist of all the goals that are before that, the short-term, the middle-term goals. And then the life goals, they're the ones that often do not really have a proper, clear plan. For example, when you say, I want to become a billionaire at the age of 16, and, well, you say that at the age of 16, you probably do not really know what steps you need to take in order to get there. To be honest, I want to be a millionaire by actually 2018. But I seriously believe that I do not know the steps yet in order to get to $1 billion. I haven't figured out that yet. I just simply know where I'm going, but I do not know whether I'm going to hit the billion anytime in my life. I do not think so, but of course it is my goal to get there at some point. Now, we have to make sure that we have steps that we take in order to achieve all the goals that we have in our life. Now, when will you reach your goal? That is basically the question. Every goal has to be consisting of many smaller goals, whether it's short, middle, and in the long term. It doesn't matter which kind of goal you have, every goal can be achieved with steps. If you just say there is a certain goal that I want to reach and you're never going to reach it, well, then what is the point of actually creating that goal? When you say, for example, this week I'm going to be dieting, but you have no idea how to do that, and in 2 hours time you're going to be eating your next chocolate bar, then why did you even think about having a goal, and why did you even then propose it to yourself and said, okay, I want to reach this goal? Why did you do that then if you do not achieve anything? So be sure to really achieve the things that you want to do by creating proper steps that make up your goal. Now, one advice I can give you: hustle in the short term in order to make it in the long term. That is basically my ideology when I do anything. So for example, when I'm creating these courses, I really hustle. I really try to create as many courses as possible, also with a lot of content, a lot of insights, and a lot of information. But also I try to not write down any text. I want to improvise for every video, because I also believe this is more like informal and it's perhaps nicer for you to listen to. And also I just simply cannot take the time in order to write texts in order to really do all of these videos. And also I think it is just simply not adding any benefit to this course, because in the end everything that I'm teaching I also have in my mind, and I can just tell it to you. Now I want to present you one more quote in the end. And that quote is basically that every overnight success took 20 years to build. So when you see people on Facebook, for example, or on Twitter, or on Instagram that post photos of their cars and how super rich they're now, and they post perhaps like photos of them playing around with money and drinking Moe and drinking, I don't know, great vodka or something like that, and visiting the best places on earth. Most of the time, these people are scammers, and if they really achieve that, they often are not like 21 years old or 22 years old, but they're rather like 30 or 40. It took them years and years and years in order to really build such a career, in order to build such a brand, such a product, such a business, in order to make that kind of money. So when you also, for example, see a great dancer and you think, wow, this woman is so beautiful, or perhaps she's just dancing so well, that is unfair that I cannot do it. No, it's not unfair. This person just really like took years and years of their time. They really sacrificed their family, sacrificed free time, sacrificed even health in order to get to that point. And the same thing is also the same with me. Now, for example, when I create my business, when I give all of these interviews, when I create the video content, when I write books, this is basically all of me doing it, and I'm sacrificing my time for the things that I want to achieve. So every overnight success took 20 years to build. There is no overnight success. There's no one who just simply became successful overnight, except perhaps people on the internet who did something really stupid or something really funny. But in the end, there is no proper overnight success that really makes millions of dollars. If you know an overnight success that really became in 24 hours a multi-millionaire and makes millions and millions of dollars, then send me this guy's name and I'm going to hook him up, and I'm just going to ask him all the questions how he did it, because this guy would, or this girl would, be a human wonder. Now, this is the quote. Really think about that quote again in detail. Understand that you need patience in order to achieve your goals, and also just simply things take time, but if you take the time in order to do them, you're gonna achieve them.